How's it going, everyone? It's Avi from Mother Sponge 5000, and in this video, we're going to focus on the next few storm systems that are expected to move through the eastern portion of the United States and determine the possibility you'll receive accumulating snowfall associated with these next few storm systems, as there's a possibility we could see potentially a significant snowstorm develop right around the Midwest and the Northeast. But before I begin, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more by the comments. So let's begin by taking a look at the European model, as now it's becoming potentially increasingly more likely that we're going to see some snow, at least later during the week, right around the Midwest and Northeast. But there's still questions regarding how large the area of snow will be. If we were to take a look at what the European model is suggesting as of right now, we do see that right around the Thursday timeframe, we will see a formidable low pressure system develop right around the Midwest, and we're going to see just enough instability to where we're going to see enough lift right around the eastern half of this storm system and begin to see thunderstorm activity develop, as well as some snow on the northern portion of this storm system. And this could set up for potentially significant snowstorm for the Midwest, where some areas could receive close to a foot of snow if the European model scenario was correct, because we do see that right around the Friday time frame, we do see some heavy snow right around the northern portion of Iowa, extending to Minnesota, as well as the southern portion of Wisconsin and close to the Chicago area, where those areas are experiencing moderate to heavy snow bands at times. And this is as a result of a pressure gradient between this Arctic ridge and this very warm low pressure system that's absorbing a lot of the very warm and moist air mass that's just to the south of it, interacting with each other, and that's creating a highly unstable environment right around the snow area, which is creating those heavy snow bands that will lead to potentially a significant snowstorm for many Americans right around the southern Great Lakes region. And we do see the snow eventually extend into into Michigan. However, the storm is eventually expected to weaken based off what the European model is stating as a result of a lack of instability, because we do see that early on there's a slight dip in the jet stream where the cold air is interacting with the warmer moist environment a little bit more. However, eventually the storm will move due west, which will definitely reduce the instability, since there isn't really cold air that's dipping down into this very warm air mass to create a lot of that lift on the eastern side of this low pressure system. So as a result, this area of rain and snow showers is expected to weaken as this heads further eastward, where we begin to see it completely dissipate by the time this reaches the mid-Atlantic. However, Pennsylvania and even some portions of New Jersey could experience some snow from this as we approach the weekend time frame. We're just going to have to wait and see how powerful this low pressure system will be by the time this approaches the East Coast, and this will bring a heavy amount of snowfall for much of the Midwest. If I were to show you guys the forecasted snowfall from the European model, assuming that 1 inch precipitable rainfall equates to 10 inches of snow, we could see a large area in between Iowa, Wisconsin, even the northeastern portion of Nebraska experience 6 to 12 inches of snow, where many areas are experiencing right around 8 to 10 inches of snow just north of Des Moines. And we even see that snow extend into Milwaukee and eventually into Michigan as well, where some areas could receive close to 6 inches of snow. And we do see some snow showers extend even as far east as Pennsylvania and Maryland. So the European model does want to bring a major snowstorm to the Midwest, at least with this first storm system. But the GFS model does not agree with the European model scenario, where the GFS model expects this first low pressure system at least to be more of a rain event. However, there's still that possibility we could see more significant snowstorms move through the eastern half of the United States as we approach the mid to late December time period. If I were to show you guys what the GFS model is forecasting at this time, we see that the GFS model is mainly expecting the temperatures to be a little bit too warm for much of any region in the Midwest to experience snowfall. However, we do still see some snowfall right around northern Michigan, but outside of that, most of the populated areas of the Midwest and Northeast avoid the snowfall entirely, thanks to how much warm air is filtering in further northward. Based on what the GFS model is stating at this time, we do see some snow in Wisconsin and Michigan, but that's really about it. Maybe in the higher elevations of the Northeast as well, but it's mostly a rain event. Now, of course, what will determine how much snow the Midwest and Northeast will experience is first how much cold air there will be right around the northern Midwest, and that all has to do with this ridge. Depending on how far north or south this ridge is, that will determine how far south the cool air will go, and that will definitely play a role in terms of whether or not you'll experience precipitation in the form of rainfall and snowfall. If we were to take a look back at the European wall, we do see that the European wall is expecting this ridge to be a lot further southward and the cold air to dig in a lot quicker than the GFS model, which allows the precipitation on the south side to overlap this cold air and fall in the form of snowfall in right around the northern portion of this storm system. The GFS model does not expect that, as it expects this ridge to move a lot slower, so we see less of that northwest easterly push that would bring that cold air further southward. So as a result, we do see a lot less snow in the GFS model scenario. So we're going to need to pay close attention to how this ridge builds over the next several days. I wouldn't say we'll get a confident outlook on whether or not we're going to see a significant snowstorm for the Midwest. Probably by the Wednesday timeframe, that's when we really should determine how fast that ridge will move to the northeastern United States, and that will determine if you experience a significant snowstorm in the Midwest or not. But you need to stay on high alert, because it's potentially becoming increasingly likely that you'll experience at least some sort of snow associated with this low pressure system. But I'll keep you guys updated over the next several days, and of course we're going to need to see how much instability there will be as this low pressure system moves further eastward to really determine if the Northeast will experience some snowfall. And we need to see enough of a northerly push associated with the winds just to the west of this low pressure system, because that will determine how far south the jet stream dips on the eastern side to induce enough lift for this storm to have enough energy to bring a high amount of precipitation over a large area in the Northeast without fizzling out. So we're going to need to pay close attention to that as well. But beyond this storm system, we do have other storm systems we're taking a look at throughout the Northeast. We're going to have this low pressure system move just to the south, but look at this storm system that's expected to build right around the mid-December time period, early next week, where we do see a pretty significant storm develop right around the Midwest that brings some snow to the Midwest and the Northeast, and we even see some very, very heavy snowfall right around the Midwest in a lot of the same areas where the European model wants to bring heavy snowfalls. It's still very far out, still a lot of time to iron out the forecast, but the fact that the European model does expect quite a powerful low pressure system to move ashore right around the Pacific Northwest by the time we reach this weekend, that will enhance the possibility that we're going to see strong northwesterly winds on the western side of this low pressure system to bring that colder air further southward into the United States to create more instability. So we're going to need to pay close attention to this low pressure system as it heads further eastward, because this could create a highly unstable environment for a major snowstorm to develop and bring heavy snowfall all throughout the Northeast and the Midwest. I'll keep you guys updated over the next several days. Taking a look at what the GFS model expects with this same storm system as it approaches the Pacific Northwest towards the weekend time frame. The GFS model sort of expects the same scenario. However, the GFS model again forecasts most of the snow to be centered towards Canada rather than the United States, as the GFS model has been the computer model a lot less lenient in bringing cold air far south enough for much of the United States to experience much snowfall. But there's still, of course, always that possibility of forecast could change. We still need to see how quick this ridge will build, because if this ridge moves a little bit quicker to the south, then we're more likely to see that cold air remain over the United States for a higher possibility of snowfall as we head into the December time period. So I'll keep you guys updated over the next several days. Taking a look at what the GFS model is forecasting when it comes to snowfall associated with this first snowstorm moving through. We do see that the GFS model isn't as confident as bringing heavy snowfall, as we do see some heavy snowfall right around Wisconsin and northern portion of Michigan and the higher elevations of the Northeast. But other than that, not much, as the GFS model does bring a lot less cold air. So we're going to need to wait and see which one will be the more correct one, because that will determine the possibility you'll receive snow over the next not only several days but several weeks. Now, taking a look at the North Atlantic Oscillation, we do see that a negative phase is expected to build by the time we approach the mid-December time period. So colder temperatures could be more likely, as well as more snowstorms, because during a negative North Atlantic Oscillation, the jet stream winds are a lot weaker. So that wouldn't prevent the cold air from getting trapped right around the polar region and allow it to have more of an opportunity to move further southward and impact the United States. So that's something to keep in mind, that there's that possibility we could see heavier snowfall and cooler temperatures throughout the United States as we approach the mid-December time period and potentially into Christmas as well. Now, taking a look at my forecast when it comes to this next major snowstorm, of course, there could be significant snowstorms beyond this, but based on this first snowstorm, as of right now, based on what the European model is saying, I'm stating we're going to see 6 to 12 inches over a large area of Iowa. And the reason why I'm leaning more to the European model when it comes to my forecast is because the GFS model is now starting to mimic the European model a little bit more than usual over the past several runs, which could mean that the GFS model is playing catch up with the European model when it comes to the accurate forecast. So I do believe that the European model has a little bit of an edge when it comes to a forecast like this. Now that it seems like the GFS model is trying to copy what the European model is stating. So I do expect the European model to be more correct computer model. So, but again, this forecast is subject to change, so take it with a grain of salt. But based on what I'm seeing right now, I do expect a heavy amount of snow throughout the Midwest and even extending to the Northeast, where the New York City metropolitan area could potentially experience its first accumulating snowfall by the time we approach this weekend, where you could maybe experience up to 1 inch of snow, and of course heavier snow in the Midwest, since the storm would be stronger at that point. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather content, and I hope you guys have a great day.